Red phone inside the Pentagon just rang. Behind closed doors, the world's most powerful military leaders have just confirmed a terrifying truth. The war we all feared has officially begun, and there is no going back. We're told a full-scale World War III was impossible. But tonight, as hidden missile silos open across the desert, the global elite are quietly preparing for a terrifying new reality that no one can stop.
The Middle East is changing forever. In Washington, London, and Tehran, leaders are facing a reality no one prepared for. What did Iran actually win from this war, and what is the devastating cost it just paid? For decades, a shadow war kept the world on edge. But today, the masks are off. A geopolitical shift is forcing regional superpowers to show their ultimate hand, and there is no turning back. Tehran's real power never lay within its own borders. It was scattered across a vast, highly complex network of regional allies, dictating terms from the deep shadows of the desert. But the old rules of engagement are shattered. Direct missile strikes have broken the illusion of safety, forcing the regime into a dangerous corner, where staying silent is no longer an option. While the government projects strength to the outside world, the reality at home is crumbling under the immense weight of historical international sanctions, leaving the local economy in complete tatters. In Washington, the Pentagon monitors every move. The United States faces a critical dilemma: how to protect its global interests without dragging the world into a massive, uncontrolled conflict. Behind closed doors, military strategists and analysts review satellite footage in real time. Every piece of intelligence could mean the difference between peace and a regional explosion. Classified intelligence reports indicate a significant shift in Iran's drone capabilities. These cheap, mass-produced weapons have effectively rewritten the textbook of modern warfare. The strategic impact is already clear. In the Red Sea, vital international shipping lanes have turned into a dangerous gauntlet, directly threatening the fragile flow of global trade. As global shipping slows down, anxiety ripples through the global energy sector. The sudden fear of oil supply disruptions threatens to trigger a chaotic shockwave across international markets. Meanwhile, Israel views Iran's moves as an existential threat. The ironclad doctrine of total deterrence means any direct provocation will be met with overwhelming, clinical military power. Inside Tehran, the political and religious leadership remains unyielding. Publicly, they project a posture of defiance, asserting that their strategic goals are being successfully met.
Air defense systems across the entire region have been placed on absolute maximum alert. The skies are being watched 24 hours a day for any sign of an incoming strike.
A parallel war is being fought on the global airwaves. State media and international news networks clash daily, each striving desperately to...
This is a delicate, dangerous balance of power. Every single action creates a massive reaction, bringing the entire region closer to a definitive tipping point. To understand Iran's strategy, one must look at the blueprint of asymmetric warfare. For decades, Tehran has perfected the art of fighting wars through regional actors. Its corridor stretches across the desert sands, creating a direct line of logistics and political influence that bypasses traditional national borders completely. Maintaining this vast network requires an immense flow of capital. Funding these groups has become a point of massive debate, both inside and outside the country. At the heart of global anxiety lies the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow choke point where 1/5 of the world's total petroleum passes every single day.
International naval forces have increased their presence in these volatile waters, escorting commercial ships to prevent any sudden blockade or drone strike.
Behind the military movements, diplomatic channels are breaking down. United Nations meetings end in deep gridlock, both sides refusing to take the first step back.
Inside Iran, public fatigue is growing. Many citizens argue that billions of dollars spent abroad should instead be used to fix the struggling domestic infrastructure. The local currency has hit historic lows against the US dollar. Basic commodities have become luxury items for millions of ordinary working-class families.
This economic stagnation has led to a massive brain drain. Thousands of young, educated professionals are leaving the country every year in search of a stable future. Despite internal pressures, The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps continues to display its military might through massive, highly coordinated public parades.
Deep underground, secret manufacturing facilities operate around the clock, producing thousands of low-cost loitering munitions that terrify regional air defenses. Western intelligence services use advanced spy satellites to track these hidden facilities, watching for any signs of immediate weapon transfers or deployments. But the battlefield isn't just physical. A silent, invisible cyber war is being fought constantly, targeting critical infrastructure and government databases on both sides. In response, Washington is working to build a unified regional coalition, bringing old rivals together to create a joint air defense framework against Iran.
This leaves Iran at a critical crossroads. Its old strategies have brought it immense influence, but they have also brought the country to the brink of a total systemic crisis.
Despite the heavy pressure, Iran has secured significant victories. It has successfully demonstrated that its asymmetric doctrine can effectively block major global powers.
Through its steady coordination, Tehran has established reliable corridors across the region, creating permanent land links from its western border to the Mediterranean. Its allies have proven capable of halting shipping in critical waterways using simple, inexpensive equipment, challenging billions of dollars worth of Western naval defense technology. This disruptive power has forced regional rivals to recognize Tehran's permanent influence, shifting diplomatic priorities from confrontation to survival and dialogue. As a result, Western powers face increasing difficulty managing regional conflicts, revealing the limits of traditional military interventions against distributed adversaries. Faced with Western isolation, Iran has successfully deepened its economic and strategic ties with Eastern superpowers, securing new critical supply chains.
Decades of isolation have forced Iran's engineering sector to adapt, establishing advanced domestic production of electronics, components, and heavy industrial machinery.
Tehran's aerospace division has made rapid improvements, developing sophisticated guidance systems that have surprised international defense monitors.
To its core supporters, the regime has successfully broadcast a narrative of ultimate defiance, framing itself as the leading force resisting global hegemony. Through digital media and cultural outreach, Tehran has extended its soft power, gaining ideological support across communities far beyond its geographic borders. Despite oil sanctions, Iran has developed alternative trading networks, using informal markets and barter agreements to keep its core revenues flowing. By moving the front line of conflict, thousands of miles away from its actual territory, Iran has achieved an unmatched level of defensive strategic depth. To completely bypass the Western banking system, the state has quietly integrated digital assets and decentralized mining operations into its national financial strategy. No matter the scale of future peace talks, Tehran has made it impossible for any regional security agreement to be designed without its direct participation. Its local defense industry has successfully deployed advanced homegrown anti-air networks, significantly raising the potential cost of any direct foreign airstrike.
Yet, these tactical victories come with a crushing price tag. The strategic losses Iran has suffered during this conflict threaten the very survival of its state's targeted elimination of its most experienced military minds has created a critical leadership vacuum that political rhetoric simply cannot fill.
The precision of these strikes has exposed a deeper flaw: a severe security penetration of Iran's internal communication networks by foreign intelligence.
The international response has triggered a fresh wave of severe economic sanctions, closing the remaining legal loopholes for Iran's global trade. The immediate consequence is a catastrophic collapse of the Iranian rial, eroding the lifetime savings of ordinary middle-class citizens within weeks.
With capital diverted to military funding, the national power grid and domestic water infrastructure face critical, unaddressed failures across rural provinces.
The country has been completely cut off from essential Western medical equipment and civil aviation components, directly compromising public safety. Iran's commercial aviation fleet is now among the oldest in the world, relying on dangerous parts cannibalization to keep its remaining passenger planes operational.
Among the younger generation, frustration has reached an all-time high. A sense of permanent isolation from the modern global economy feeds deep societal discontent,
Domestic business owners are desperately liquidating their assets, moving wealth out of the country through informal channels, starving the local market of investment. The overt actions of its proxy groups have alienated traditional diplomatic partners in Europe. This ended years of delicate negotiations over nuclear agreements. The sheer size of the conflict to commit vast logistics resources to remote battlefields, leaving its own domestic borders vulnerable to insurgent groups. Recent retaliatory strikes have targeted key manufacturing sites, destroying specialized equipment that took decades to build or smuggle past customs. Behind the scenes, the elite leadership is fracturing. Pragmatists and hardliners clash. They clash over whether to continue the regional escalation or seek a compromise.
Ultimately, the myth of total invulnerability is gone. Foreign powers have shown they can strike deep within Iranian territory without triggering a catastrophic regional response.
The clash between Iran and its rivals is no longer a localized conflict. It has broken past regional borders, sending massive ripple effects across the entire globe. As shipping lanes become unpredictable, international oil companies face soaring insurance premiums, threatening to increase global energy costs for consumers. Massive cargo carriers are now avoiding the region entirely, choosing a long, costly route around the southern tip of Africa, delaying critical supply chains.
Global maritime insurance syndicates in London and Tokyo have placed the entire region on red alert, effectively freezing independent merchant ship movements.
NATO command centers are rapidly updating their security doctrines, shifting resources to protect vulnerable maritime choke points from asymmetric drone threats.
The maritime delays threaten essential grain shipments destined for developing countries, raising fears of artificial food shortages across East Africa.
Tech manufacturers watch the escalation with growing concern, as any disruption to trade lanes slows the delivery of vital semiconductor components worldwide.
Conflict has reactivated old geopolitical rivalries, with Eastern and Western superpowers backing opposing sides, echoing the dark days of the Cold War.
Military experts warn that the success of Iran's drone network will inspire insurgent groups worldwide to adopt similar low-cost, high-impact weapon systems.
International commercial airlines have permanently adjusted their flight corridors, avoiding the airspace over the conflict zone, adding hours to global travel times.
Governments worldwide are pouring billions into cybersecurity infrastructure, bracing for collateral damage from state-sponsored hacking campaigns.
Global stock exchanges show severe volatility, with defensive military stocks rising sharply, while international transport and travel shares slide down. From Europe to Asia, nations are realizing that old air defense models are outdated, leading to an unprecedented wave of domestic military spending. Humanitarian organizations warn that economic strain across the region will inevitably trigger a new wave of migration toward Western Europe. The lesson of this escalation is simple yet terrifying. An explosion in the deserts of the Middle East can instantly change life in cities thousands of miles away, entering a dangerous new phase of tactical patience. As the initial dust settles, both Iran and its international adversaries are quietly planning their next moves. In the shadows, Tehran has already begun resupplying its regional allies, replacing destroyed rocket caches with smarter, more modern guidance units. Western nations are establishing specialized naval task forces to strictly monitor illegal maritime transfers, aiming to completely cut off Iran's supply routes.
Faced with major intelligence failures, Iran's high command is carrying out a severe internal purge, completely restructuring its counter-espionage divisions. International atomic inspectors warn that the breakdown of diplomacy has removed all remaining limits on Tehran's underground uranium enrichment operations. Neighboring states are responding by purchasing sophisticated long-range missile systems from the West, triggering an unprecedented arms race across the Gulf. To survive permanent sanctions, the Iranian state is shifting toward a total war economy, centralizing distribution networks and strictly controlling foreign trade. State television has updated its messaging, focusing heavily on national unity and survival to counter growing domestic criticism over the cost of the war. The deep scars left by the direct missile exchanges have effectively frozen all active trade normalization efforts between Iran and its wealthy Gulf neighbors.
To achieve complete autonomy, Iran's Aerospace Corps is accelerating its independent satellite launch program, aiming to secure military surveillance assets in orbit. Private financial networks across Asia continue to provide critical lifelines, ensuring that Tehran can exchange its oil resources for vital industrial goods.
The region has entered a state of permanent cold conflict, where open warfare is avoided, but the constant threat of instant escalation remains a daily reality. Iran has proven its ability to project immense power and disrupt the world order, but it has done so by risking its internal financial stability and long-term security.